Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a game 7 of the World Championship match between Grandmaster Gukesh from India and Liren from China. So let's start the game 7. The score is 3 on a 3. Gukesh opens with the knight to f3, that is the ready opening, d5, g3, g6, d5, bishop to g7, c4, c6, bishop to g2, knight to f6, castle and rook to. This rook to e1 is an extremely rare move in this position. The moves here are knight to a3 or queen to c2, and this position is never happened, or maybe almost very few. I don't know. It's never happened in the entire chess world. The exact same position is happening between the two grandmasters from USA. From the I don't exactly know where this is not, but this position exactly happened in the 1987 with the same position, but white to move. The reason behind this mystery is that I will show you. The reason behind the mystery is that they both open with the. These are the move order they played. C6. The reason now this is the same position, but now is black to move. So instead of all this, let's bring to the game. Gukesh cooked this poison for the game 7. He's on his second. Now Ding Liren was an absolutely shock at he does not see this position before with black to move. The move he knows about this white to move in the same position. So Ding thinks about the 30 minutes and he plays the principal move, pawn captures pawn, e4. Now white captures the center here. The whole idea of the playing rook to e1 and give the pawn is to play in the center. And when you capture the center, your opponent doesn't have the squares to move for his pieces. So that was the main idea of the Gukesh playing this opening. Bishop to g4, knight to d2, and c5. Here, when I was watching the live stream, everybody is expecting Ding to play b4, because after bishop to b4, h3, bishop to e6, a4, a5, queen to e2, knight a6, knight to g5, queen captures pawn, knight to f3, queen to d3, queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, and just this position has does not look good for black, as these pawns are isolated. After this move of the knight, this is under fire. Everything is under fire here. So that's it. Everything is under fire here. So Ding about and plays the c5. This c5, everyone is a shock, but I was really impressed with the Ding of the c5 move, as it completely changes of the game dynamics. And Gukesh now thinks about around 10 minutes here, and he plays the principal move d5, keeping the tension. Now, if you have this position, what you do here? Okay, your opponent is playing in the center, and you have to break the opponent of your center. And how do you break the center? You must have to break the center. Let's say if you play some passive moves like knight to d7, knight takes c4. These are the extremely strong pawns here, and you cannot exchange this pawn here. You must have to, whenever your opponent tries to play his pawn into your center and tries to push your pieces backward, you must always try to find the breaks in the positions. So let's see how Ding breaks it. After d5, e6 is played, and now h3, bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop. You can also capture with the knight, but bishop captures is good, and it's maintains this, and it keeps the pressure on this diagonal, and the rook is also not developed, and it also have the extra protection towards the pawn. Pawn captures pawn, pawn captures pawn. Unfortunately, the Ding cannot capture this pawn because knight takes c4. Let's say you block the queen. Now just simply bishop to a6, and if you played this is you are losing a piece here. After rook takes rook, queen has to take, and bishop takes. So unfortunate for Liren and good fortunate for Gukesh. Once misfortune is another fortune and another fortune is another misfortune. So instead of this, knight to b7 is on the board. Knight takes c4, b4, sorry, b5, transform the game into Benoni-like structure where you don't have central pawns, and you place this first, and you try to play on the queen side. This bishop is hitting this diagonal, and you play your pawn majority. If you can search the YouTube, and you can see the Benoni opening, so you will understand what I'm speaking here. Knight to a3, queen to b6, bishop to f4, developing the bishop to a better square. Now rook to e8, queen to d2, and rook to d8. Another nice developing move. Keeps the pressure on the pawn. And now knight to c2 is played, knight to f8. If in case of the pawn moves, knight can come to the e6. So the b4. This b4 is such a beautiful move. It's the Ding only has 40 minutes here and Gukesh has 1 hour here. So Ding has to spend time here. Gukesh is literally playing against the Ding clocks. Let's say you play some reckless move here. Sorry, you capture this pawn, and now knight takes b4. Knight comes to the e4. Bishop takes knight. Bishop takes rook. Knight come to the c6. Rook to c8, and now his position. Knight is controlling d7. Knight is controlling b8, and knight is controlling d8, and you cannot kick this knight away. White has this strong pass pawn which can goes further. White can always exchange this powerful bishop which controls this square. This is you don't want to end up in this position in a world championship game where a clock is clicking and you literally have only 20 to 30 minutes left on the clock, as there is after first 40 moves there are 2 hours for each player, and then thereafter 30 minutes extra with 30-second increment. So this is the moment Ding has to think in this position, what I want to do, whether I wanted to capture the pawn, I wanted to push the pawn. So he sees this position in his head and he says, no, I don't want this mess on the board in the world championship game. So he pushed this e4, and now bishop to e3, queen to a6, bishop to d4, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, queen takes pawn, and now rook to a8, queen to b3, rook to, now just simply check. This move is a blunder. The correct move in this position is to play knight to d7. As I'm going to show you the further, when the game proceeds further, you will understand why this is a blunder. So Gukesh find this little subtle move which attacking the b pawn, which cannot be saved. So queen to b3, rook to the a3, queen to b1, and just simply takes. And now Gukesh captures the pawn, and now Ding tries to exchange the queens as his position is worse and worse and worse. His pawns are falling like a, what you say, it's like a piece of paper, whatever it is. And now just simply queen to the f4. All he's trying to do is to takes and takes. So just queen takes, knight takes, and now here Ding flies an absolutely best resource in the position which keeps the game going and close to the equality. If he doesn't find this move, he was completely lost. He find queen to the f4, queen takes queen. The queen takes queen was a mistake here. You should have to play something like this and keeps the bishop pair, which maintains the winning advantage and was helpful in the future. So instead takes, and now rook to c4. Gukesh believes that his rook and the bishop and this passers, two pass pawns, are is okay to win the game, so it hasn't hit the bishop pair. The game continues with the knight to e5, rook to the d4, another brilliant move. Now attacking the pawn, protecting the pawn, and just simply b5, king to f6, adding an extra defender to the pawn. So now the knight can move. Not Now simply again rook to the d4, and now h6, trying to this pawn all on the last rank. If the if the white rook goes to the 7th rank, then it can be difficult. So Ding plays h6, a prevention move. And now here Liren has only 3 minutes in the clock. The clock is clicking. He only has one move in this position, which maintains the fortress, and so the Gukesh cannot penetrate, and the games will end in a draw. Can Liren finds it? Only 3 minutes on the clock. Ding goes down up to the 4 to 5 seconds, and he plays to the move king to e5. And now this now the Gukesh is absolutely winning here. So instead, I'm going to show you the move Ding has to play. Ding has to play the move knight to c8. Now king to e2, knight to the e5. It's just you attack the pawn, you protect the pawn, you just simply maintain the fortress. White cannot penetrate this. So instead, in the game, king to e5 is played. Now this is losing because rook to the a4 is played, attacking the pawn. Here you cannot protect this pawn, because let's say if you try to protect the pawn with the d6, rook to the a4 is come, and now let's say you play knight to the c8. This rook hits the knight. Let's say you protect your knight. You have to go here, rook to the c1. Now this is under fire, and now if you try to protect the pawn, just simply rook to h7. This pawn is losing, this position is completely lost. So after rook to h4, Ding says okay, that position is completely lost, so he desperately eliminates the center pawn. Rook takes pawn, and now knight to the c3, attacking the pawn. There's only one move which gives the advantage for Gukesh. The move is rook to c6, hitting the knight, and Gukesh finds it comfortably. And now knight to the e4. Here, if Gukesh captures the knight, this is a winning rook endgame. But there is a saying that all rook endgames are drawn. So this is the World Championship match. He gets a winning advantage due to some quote that all rook endgames are drawn, and there is a marginal high chances of draw the game. So he says, no, I don't wanted to draw this game. I wanted to win this game, so I would not let you into the rook endgame. So now king to the e1. This is a blunder of the game. Now this king to e1 brings the Ding back into the game. Liren has 26 minutes left here with a 30-second increment. He spent around 20 minutes or 21 minutes for this f6 move. This f6 move sets a devilish trap in the position. If Gukesh misses that trap, then the game will end in a draw. So let's see. The move here the Gukesh has to play is rook to c8. Now he is completely winning. After rook to d5, bishop to e2, f4, g4, knight to d6, knight to c6. This position is completely winning for white. But instead, Gukesh plays h4, and now Ding came back in the game. The world champion Liren has to prove to the world that he is a world champion, not because of some fortune. He deserves to be the world champion, and that's why he is the world champion. Liren shows to the world after playing the further sets of the moves, and he gave the message to the world. In the last year, I lost many matches. I don't convert my winning advantage. I underestimated one against Magnus Carlsen. But in this World Championship match, I am the Ding who becomes the world champion, who beats the Magnus Carlsen in a tie breaks. He shows why. He plays rook to the d3, hitting the bishop. Now, the game can still go after king e2 or bishop to d1. But instead, bishop to d1. Now, since the position is 0, 0, 0, there's only one move. You can pause the video here and try to find a move. which Ding plays. If you find a move, then you can draw the game against World Championship challenger Grandmaster Gukesh, almost a 2800 player and extremely a strong super GM. Okay, the move here is f4, and now if you capture the pawn, king takes pawn. Okay, I will show you what happen if this move forwards. Means rook to h3 come h5 f3. You have to give up your bishop here, otherwise you are going to checkmate. So instead, Gukesh captures the pawn, and now king takes pawn, bishop to c2, rook to d5, attacking the pawn, which is here. Rook to h3 also okay. Rook to the c4, setting a devilish trap here. So f4, and there is a now rook to the b5, sorry, rook to the b4, king to f3, bishop to d1. Whenever you are in your opponent position and there is only rook and bishop, you must move your king forward. Let's say if you go back, then there is f3. Let's say if you go back here, then you are almost lost here. After f3, the knight is pinned and you cannot capture because the bishop is protecting. So that's not possible. So king to g2, only move here, and now simply rook to the e5, pinning the. If the knight moves, there are some discoveries. So f4, Gukesh knows now this is a draw, but he tries to find out the way to keep the game as he get the opening. And he, from move number 6, Ding is out of his preparation. The Gukesh is winning most of the game. He has a winning advantage in the end game, and that advantage is gone. The Gukesh is simply not mentally ready to accept that this game is a draw. I have to come stronger in the next game. So he tries f4, rook to d7, rook to d3, rook to e3, and just rook to the h7, h5, simply knight to the f6, rook to the e5, knight captures pawn, simply knight to the g3, hitting the rook, rook to the b7, hitting the pawn, bishop to a5, protecting the pawn, and just sitting confidently bring his king to attack the pawn, and just he simply move the king like a boss. f5, f4, knight to the e6, sorry, e4, hitting the pawn, and now just simply knight to d6, hitting the pawn. You don't capture this. Don't capture this pawn, otherwise it's a dead loss. This is moving and this is completely lost. So he doesn't capture the pawn. So just here attacks the, now just simply king to e5, and now bishop to b3, getting control of the pawn, and just calmly knight to f7, check, just takes the pawn, king to d2, rook to the b6, because he wanted to play a6, so takes. So bishop to c4, trying to avoid that setup, and now just simply exchange the rooks as the rook on the king on the same file. So you have to exchange the rooks no matter what here. Now just simply knight to d6, and just simply this is a game draw. Those who are new to the chess, bishop, king and bishop cannot checkmate the black king. King and knight cannot checkmate the black king, so it is a draw. If here are the bishop pair or bishop and knight, then mate is possible. So this is insufficient material. White cannot ever mate the black king. So the game ends in a draw. Guys, this is a very Hercules game. This is a most exciting game after game 1 and game 3. They fought like lions. Gukesh fought like a lion. Ding resisted like a lion. They both fought like a lion. I really, when I was watching the, I changed live stream to the Chess Base India. The intention was Tanya Sachadev, and it's praising Liren for his beautiful resilience of holding this game. For any grandmaster to hold this position, it's extremely difficult. and Ding today proves that that's why he's the world champion. If Gukesh wanted to become the world champion, he has to convert these chances. If he is not going to convert chances against Ding, then it's very difficult for him. So let's see, there are more 7 games remembering. So tomorrow is Ding has a white pieces and Gukesh has a black pieces. So today Gukesh surprises Ding with his opening preparation. So let's see whether Ding is able to surprise Gukesh or not. Thank you guys.